All right, g'day everyone, Ben Williamson here from InvestorHub here at the Ignite Summit in Hong Kong, and I've got Simon Linge here from Livium. How are you?
Great to be with you, Ben. I'm really well.
Yeah, great. How was day one of the conference yesterday? Having a good time?
Yeah, very full day, lots of conversations happening, lots of interested people interested in what Livium's doing, and great exposure to some potential new investor communities.
Yeah, it's a really good group here, I feel like. There's a lot of energy in the room, which is fantastic, and especially because everyone's at that kind of higher level of investor, which is great. All right, well, why don't you give us a bit of an overview on Livium?
Yeah, so Livium is a operating technology business that provides critical materials to the battery industry. We do that through three businesses or technology platforms. One, lithium chemicals, is a patented technology that's at the mining end of the spectrum and helps improve yield at high hard rock spodumene mines. We've got a joint development agreement with Mineral Resources around that technology, which they're funding, which is moving along nicely. The other technology that we're really excited about is battery materials. We're one of the few people outside of China with the capability to make a cathode active material. That's the stuff that goes inside the positive end of a battery. Okay. And we've just received, in the last few weeks, a grant from the Australian government to help fund 50% of that scale up of that technology. Awesome. Which I'm happy to chat about a bit further. And then we've got a living, breathing, operating business in battery recycling, where we're the leading recycler of lithium-ion batteries in Australia today.
It's a lot on.
It is. There's a lot to manage, but we've got a great team and they're doing a great job.
And I guess, yesterday and in the market, what's really getting investors excited? Like what part of it are they really latching onto at the moment?
I think in terms of our lithium chemicals, everyone understands, we've got a relationship with Mineral Resources and that's moving along. Really the two key themes that are resonating with investors today and generally is clearly about battery recycling. It's a living, breathing beast today. It's generating positive cash flows and really growing, and the opportunity for volumes for that business is exciting for people. But the LFP business, the battery material business, with the government support, is really starting to provoke people's interest as to how they can get on board at this point in its journey.
It must be really interesting seeing the cross-section of technology all the way through to recycling.
It is. I mean, we think we actually sit in a unique way in that we get to see from the mining end through the recycling end of the battery value chain. So we get a good understanding of all the components and all the players there. We're not sort of just looking at one vertical. So we think we have a pretty unique perspective about what's happening across the value chain.
And I guess given that perspective, given that proximity to the value chain, what is something that you're seeing that maybe investors here and definitely people at home might not be aware of?
Yeah, I think what we're seeing is, and we've seen it scream loudly to us since the government announcement of its 50% funding, $30 million grant to battery materials, is the urgency that the West is feeling about needing to have alternate supply chains around battery materials in particular. That is really starting to come to the fore, particularly as tariffs become a bigger issue front and centre now. There's almost a bit of a re-scrambling, if you like. 2 years ago, or 2.5 years ago, it was all about the critical minerals and pricing and availability. Now it's all about, well, how do I actually build some capability in the battery value chain and do that quickly?
It's an interesting point, especially with everything that's happening at the moment.
Yeah, I think the other feature that we're seeing is we're in 2025. The Europeans have mandated a percentage of content going into batteries. New batteries from 2027 needs to have recycled content. And so all of a sudden 2027 seems very close. And again, people are starting to really get behind that, scramble behind that. So that urgency is certainly coming through. We can see that in the conversations we're having with clients.
Great. So yesterday had a good day of meetings.
Yep.
What's the response been like from people that you're talking to?
Response has been excellent. We've got some follow-up meetings already organised. Oh, wow. Really positive for me. It's really our first time sort of on the fringes of the Asian market. Obviously, there's a lot of Chinese investors who are considering what they can do outside of China in this space. They know what they've seen in China in terms of the growth of batteries and battery value chain and battery adoption, and I think they're looking to see what they can do to play outside of China.
Yeah, fair enough. And, you know, imagine someone comes along, whether it's one of these investors that you've spoken to yesterday and today, or it's someone at home, and they're thinking about investing, right? Why should they pull the trigger now rather than sort of wait and watch?
Look, I think the small cap world has been under a lot of pressure for the last little while, to say the least,
yes.
And we're not immune from that. So, you know, to say that we're cheap is an undervalued. I mean, you'd expect any CEO to say that, but I think that's
not all
reality.
do, but no, I
think that's the reality of where we are.
Yeah.
And so, getting on board now is the right time. I think you would be a strong option for the future, and at the prices we're at and share price, I think you'd be well placed to come into our company, either at an asset level, which we're open to, or at the headco at LIT, Livium.
Yeah, awesome. And so if people are interested, they're doing their research, maybe they've got another question, what's the best way that they can get in touch? Look,
obviously you can email me direct. My information is on the website, but our website is www.liviumcorp.com.
Okay.
And that's the easiest way to get in touch with us. My details are there. There's an info email. The CFO's details are there. At any point in time, we'd be happy to talk to people.
Happy to have a chat. Great, perfect. All right, thanks very much.
Thanks, Ben.
Cheers.